The following BLTV program is brought to you by O'Flaherty Law. Please enjoy.
Welcome to Learn About Law. My name is Kevin O'Flaherty from O'Flaherty Law, and today we're going to explain what to expect when having a contract reviewed by an attorney. We're going to go through the steps of the contract review process and help you understand why it's important to even have simple contracts reviewed by an attorney and why it's definitely worth whatever small amount of money you'd spend on an attorney for a simple contract. But first, let's talk about the steps of the contract review process. So if there's a contract that's already been drafted by the other party and our client gives us the contract to review, the first step is to prepare an opinion letter. And we keep this very brief and bullet pointed because we don't want this stage to cost a lot of money at all, because it's at this stage the client can still choose not to go forward with the contract if they don't like what they see from the opinion letter. So we basically just give a bullet point list of the items we believe should be changed to make the contract fair, and include any items that the client should be aware of, as well as obligations that are imposed by the contract that may not be obvious. Depending on the length and complexity of the contract, this is usually a very inexpensive part of the process. For standard contracts like residential leases, employment agreements, independent contractor agreements, we're very used to seeing these all the time, and it doesn't take us very long to put together the bullet point list of things that look strange or things that the client needs to be aware of. So that leads us to step 2. And that is a discussion with the client. So we'll deliver our bullet point opinion letter to the client, and then we'll have a phone or in-person conversation to explain the items we highlighted as important in the contract and answer any questions that the client has. At this point, the client will typically discuss with us what parts of the contract they want to actually pursue renegotiating. So if the contract looks great, then everything's over. If there's nothing that needs to be changed, then we can just tell the other side, okay, this contract's good to sign, give us a final version to sign. But if there are some parts of the contract that should be changed to make it fair to the client may not want to negotiate everything that we highlight. The client may be willing to let some parts of the contract that we recommend being changed slide in exchange for having some more important parts change. So at this point, we decide what parts of the revisions that we initially suggest that we actually want to pursue in the negotiation process. And then the next step is for the client to actually deliver these proposed revisions to the other side. Now, there's a couple ways to do this depending on the client's budget, the amount of involvement they want to have, and the complexity of the contract. There's a couple ways to handle this. One is that if the client just wants to pursue all of the changes that we recommend in the opinion letter, the client can simply deliver our opinion letter to the opposing party and instruct them to make the changes that we recommend. If the client wants to pursue some but not all of the changes in the opinion letter, we can simply copy and paste the changes that we want to actually pursue and then deliver the trimmed down opinion letter to the opposing party. Alternatively, and what usually happens with business clients or more complicated contracts, the client can have us work with the opposing party's attorney directly to negotiate any changes that they want to pursue. And sometimes this will involve a phone call to discuss what they're actually willing to change, and that's the cheapest way to do it, because if they're not willing to change certain things, there's no reason to have us draft it. In other situations, we'll draft the language right into the Word document of the contract itself and deliver the revised contract to opposing counsel. So once we've delivered the revised contract to opposing counsel or discussed what changes want to be made, then negotiation can go back and forth for several rounds. For simpler contracts, this is usually where the other side will just make the changes or not. If it's a more complex contract, there may be several conversations between each attorney and their clients to discuss the proposed changes. The end result will be a final version of the contract that we all agree on in principle. And then this leads us to step 4, is actually having us review the final version of the contract to make sure that the changes that we suggested and negotiated for are actually correctly drafted. It's no use negotiating for a change if it's drafted poorly or ambiguously or incorrectly or left out of the final contract. So we want to review the final contract to make sure it actually does what we recommended that it do. Now, this is a very simple process. Again, the more complex the contract, the more expensive the process becomes. But for simple contracts, like I said, like employment agreements or leases, this can be, from start to finish, a very inexpensive process, and the cost of having an ambiguous contract that can lead to disputes later or an unfavorable contract that puts you into a bad position is always much more than the cost of having the contract reviewed by an attorney at the outset. So if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments section below this post at learn-about-law.com or below the video on our YouTube station. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to us on YouTube, iTunes, and SoundCloud, and you'll be notified of our daily article and video topics that we post. If you need some help, give us a call at 630-324-6666. That's 630-324-6666. We offer free consultations, and we have offices all around Chicagoland for your convenience. Thank you so much for watching and listening.
Thanks so much for watching our video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Click the subscribe button for new videos every week, and download and review us on iTunes. Visit learn-about-law.com for other legal-related articles and videos. Visit our business podcast and video blog, seizeyourbusiness.com, and visit Making Real Estate Fun for real estate videos and podcasts. Call us at 630-324-6666 for a free consultation.